Welcome back. We're going to be talking about digital fraud and crimes, the different fraud and theft scams. So, the first one we talk about is free samples. Companies will offer you a free sample if the victim pays by credit card, and then the victim finds out that the card was used for unauthorized purposes. It's not free. So, I don't know if this has ever happened to you where you thought you were going to get something for free and you have to pay a little bit something to get that thing for free. Never put in your credit card if something is for free. Mystery shopper positions. The companies are asking for extensive background checks, and then the victim gives a check to go and buy things at a specific retail store outlet over an extended period. The balance left of the check is their commission. After the victim does the shopping and deposits the check, the bank advises them that the check is counterfeit and that they're liable for the products purchased. Other instances are when the victims are asked during the background check phase for personal details like their financial information. The next one's a pretty horrible one. It's called disaster fraud. The victims will get emails from organizations that there's a disaster sort of fund if they could pay into that to help, say any kind of place that's in need of this money. And then they find out that this does not, in fact, exist at all. And also that the hacker might have gotten hold of their actual account information as well. Other things is rental and real estate scams. The scammers negotiate with the homeowner on a rental fee but wish to send additional funds to cover housing expenses. They then ask for the additional amount to be given to them in cash. The reality is that the original transfer is counterfeit or recalled, and the banks not normally place a hold on funds until they are cleared. The victim will have immediate access to the funds, thinking the deposit is cleared. However, it turns out the check used for the deposit was counterfeit. And another aspect of the same type of crime is when the scammer backs out of an agreement before the bank notifies the victim that the check is counterfeit and requests a refund. The last one mentioned here is the lotto. Usually the lotto is sent by the phone or email, and either you have to give your banking details, ID to get the prize money, but then in fact, you're putting in that information and it's not the lotto. One of those you have won sort of competitions there. And all you need is to put in your details to get the money. So be very careful of any fraud and scams out there, and hopefully you haven't experienced any fraud and theft scams. I do know some out there where you're supposed to get a free item and then you go to the place and realize there's absolutely nothing in there for you. You're clicking on this link. Just be very careful because there is quite a lot of different crime and fraud out there, scams. And maybe you can do some research in your lesson plan and find out what sort of fraud and theft scams are out there. The next one to mention in terms of digital security is that children, in fact, do not understand that there needs to be security measures in place, and that there is things such as online grooming. A criminal pretend to be a young person and in fact are going to try to kidnap them or rape them. Sexual comments to young teenagers or messages, and then sexting, which is images later to be used maybe as blackmail by a young person or for financial gain. So to be very careful, especially when it comes to children, that they don't know about that there needs to be protection on the computer so that they don't experience these sexual offenses. The next one is going into the physical harm as a result of digital crime and things such as online privacy issues. So, in terms of this part of the work, they're just talking about cookies, as it enables users' navigation to store information about the user's online behavior and their preferences. And this is at times can include their personal information and financial information. So when you're on a website and they tell you, can you just put in your location, can you just put in your age, your address, your cell phone number, that you're in fact putting in this personal information about yourself, and this can later lead to trouble along the road. And then they give some examples such as, we read about horror stories with women being stalked online and then later killed, or customers' watches, their credit card numbers are sold online for $1 a piece. So there's quite a bit of things that can happen when you give out your information. And then the next part is terms and conditions. And this is going into that you don't always have to say yes to what they're saying online. You can say, no, I don't want to share my location. I don't want to share my ID number in a competition. A lot of competitions nowadays require your ID number, and it doesn't make any sense why you just hand that over like that. So be very careful in terms of what you're agreeing to in that company's policy, because once you give out that information, you can't really go back from that. Okay. Things you can do in terms of security tools, and this is one of the most important part of this learning unit, is how can I protect myself from these hackers, from cybercrime? And the first thing is you need to get antivirus software that can run onto your computer. And there's so many free tools if you don't want to pay for it, such as Avast or Spybot, that can just protect your device from the malware at least. Then protect your actual information. Don't give information online. Try to back up your information as well. So in case you do experience malware, make sure that you maintain secure passwords. Don't use your surname and your name as a password or 1234. Try to come up with a really secure and lowercase and higher case sort of password with different numbers and things like that. Protect sensitive files to your computer that can sort of counteract, encryption and malware. Keep your internet communication private, and you can also use a VPN as well, so it can protect your location. And try to remain anonymous and bypass censorship on the internet, and how you can do this. And they're just talking about here censorship in a sense, and the two ways installed software that can prevent certain websites being accessed. Just be very careful how you can remain anonymous online. Other things as well is to protect yourself and your data on social media. Always use secure passwords, check your default privacy settings, use separate accounts and identities as well. Be careful how you save your content. And then how to use mobile phones as securely as possible is keep your phone with you at all times. Other things is to protect your SIM and memory card. Use only trusted dealers and repair shops and back up your information. And then how to use your smartphones as securely as possible is to see and the features on there such as GPS and everything like that can have effect on there. The additional functionalities, they call it. Make sure to switch off your notifications, limit tracking, and allowing apps to access your locations. You can turn that off in the application settings. Okay, so these are the very important tools, methods, and technology sort of measures you can have to counteract malware and any sort of offenses that can occur online in terms of cybercrime. Please look at your recommended additional reading. There's the Sony hack that happened with how it happened and who's responsible, the recommended reading. And also there's internet crime reports there and other sort of, it's quite a long list of different recommended readings. And you can also look at the activities that have been put in here, such as watching the trailer for terms and conditions may apply. Our next learning unit will be digital health and wellness, being the physical and the psychological sort of issues when it comes to technology. Please remember to write down any notes and sort of issues you have with the content so far and ask a lecturer for further discussion. And remember to complete those activities as well in your lesson plan. I will see you in the next learning unit.